I'm really thrilled to introduce tonight our speaker. We wanted to do a program about technology for older adults and technology for caregivers. And we didn't have to look far because we happen to have an expert who works right here. So Tyler Timmick is our speaker tonight. He serves as the Vice President of IT here. He brings over 15 years of experience in the IT industry. His expertise spans cybersecurity, networking, desktop support, and more, with a strong focus on delivering exceptional customer service to employees here and residents here. He is asked to speak often on technology topics. His bachelor's degree is in criminal justice, specializing in the justice system from Montclair State University in 2013, and he was also a member of the ice hockey team there, so great background. Tyler is a fellow of Connecticut Leading Age, and he actively participates as a member of the Wallingford YMCA Board of Directors. He's a council member on the Hewlett-Packard Customer Security Advisory Council, and I love this. He lives by the motto, Team, Teammate, Self, which reflects his commitment to collaborative success. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us tonight.
All right, hi everybody. Very nice to meet all of you. And honestly, this is my first time kind of learning about ACAP, and I got to say it's really awesome what you guys do and what you guys stand for. I think that's really cool. I think that this is a missing kind of field out there where people don't have that knowledge and to really help out, loved ones, family members, friends that, are starting to age in place, or what do we do? Where do we go? What kind of help can we get them, right? It's a lot of unknowns. And I know technology is definitely one of those unknowns, right? It gets very, very confusing. We're going to just skip to that. And just how technology has changed, right? We go back 50 years ago, right? We were using like a rotary phone, right? And now we all have iPhones. Who has a smartphone in here? Pretty much everybody, right? Almost all of us have smartphones. You almost can't live without a smartphone now, right? I will say there's some residents that we have here in Masonic who still will not get that smartphone. They will not get it. They won't bite into it. And I think that's some of the struggle in technology, right? Is kind of adapting to it as technology progresses faster and faster. What do we do, right? Even something as simple on here as you go back 50 years ago, you were probably finding out information in an encyclopedia in the library, right? You fast forward to, say, the early 90s, you were starting to Google something, right? The 2000s, you were Googling that. And now there's what's called artificial intelligence that gives you that information even faster, kind of the next step. And it's only going to kind of keep going on and on and on. But we'll kind of dim this down a little bit for you and take some look at some stuff. But just wanted to go back, a couple of fun facts. When do you guys think the iPhone came out?
2007.
Bingo. Wow, very good. 2007. Great job. 2007 is when the iPhone came out. What about this? The first live banking. What do you guys think? 1994, believe it or not, was actually the first live banking. But the first mobile deposit checking, online checking, was 2009. So really interesting how things has gone. And you're going to kind of see that through the presentation of the different options that you have for your loved ones with technology as things have kind of gone on. So just a quick intro, right? So what is technology designed to do, right? What do we think? Technology is really designed to make you try to stay independent for longer, right? Or make you live longer, right? And how is that? Enhancing safety and independence, right? So it empowers older adults to live safer, right? More independent. Somebody might be able to keep an eye on you while not actually living at the house or being in, a place like Masonic Care, right? Here at Masonic Care, we're starting to actually see the trend where people are aging in place at home longer, right? And we see that to be the trend, whereas you go back, the trend was actually to move into a place like Masonic Care at a younger age. We're starting to see our population where it's older. I'm sure you guys probably see that at your place too, right? It's a little bit older, and then they're actually not with you for as long because they're coming in later. But different things in different ways, the technology is kind of helping that, right? We have user-friendly devices, right? Social engagement devices, right? How many people use FaceTime with loved ones, right? Maybe out of state. I know, like, my grandmother travels to Myrtle Beach every winter, right? And she can't go without seeing my son for more than a day. So it's FaceTime, 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 right? So it's different things like that, but it helps, right? That social engagement helps. And I'll tell you, for loved ones who are maybe home alone, right? I could tell you, last year my grandfather passed away and my grandmother lives alone now, right? Having that FaceTime call brightens her day, right? And those little things that could help out and teach our loved ones how to utilize these technologies could brighten their day, right? It could choose a positive activity throughout the day, right? A positive mindset. So, but I will say that technology and care are a balance. Technology will not replace care. No way, right? Yes, there's robots coming out, right, that we think are going to do some stuff, but there will always be care involved. Technology will always assist them. So I wanted to touch on just some health monitoring devices. And please stop me. If you guys have questions on any of these slides, you don't want to wait till the end, please feel free to interrupt me, stop me. We can make this as interactive as you want. Wanted to just go through a couple things just to see if any of this was on anybody's radar. Wearable fall detections, right? Something as simple as, you guys are probably like an iWatch, right? You can purchase different wearables now where it looks just like an iWatch. And then it will alert to an iPad, something else. It'll have a button on it, so if somebody falls, they can just press their button on the pendant. You'll have automatic alerts. You actually have cameras now that do kind of like a fall detection as well. So going along that line, medical alert systems, right? There's something as simple as you can wear a pendant, right? They now make them like a necklace for women. Right, a watch where you hit the button, you call for help, right? You're stuck, you live home alone, right? Maybe your loved one lives in the next town and you need to just make sure, hey, they're at a fall risk, right? That's okay. It's okay that they're at a fall risk, but let's do something about it to help them, right? And that's where these pendants can come in. Has anybody heard of smart medication dispensers? Right? So kind of cool. So smart medication dispensers, you can kind of load it for the day, sometimes even the week. And a smart medication dispenser will dispense it at a certain time, sometimes ding to go off. And then also alert you, was that medication ever taken out? So then you knew if your loved one took that medication for the day, right? Some vital sign monitoring. There's stuff that does your blood pressure, your glucose, kind of just real-time monitoring that you can get out there that does technology kind of back to an app that you can see for your loved one as well. Just some home automation for safety. Again, probably some things that you might be aware of, but just wanted to touch on some things. Video doorbells for security, right? So everybody's probably heard Ring doorbell, right? And I tried to stay away from putting kind of a specific brand in the PowerPoint, but right, Ring doorbell is kind of a big one. Nice feature to have, safety feature. You can kind of see what's going on. You see packages, right? You can make sure that your packages aren't being stolen, that kind of stuff. Remote smart locks. That's a good one too. I don't know if anybody has those at home, so I actually have one of those at my house where you get it off Amazon for about 50, 60 bucks now. And what it is, you can actually just put a, basically to replace your deadbolt, you can put up a code. You have a code to get right into your house, right into your loved one's house. You don't need a key anymore. You can actually get it where you can go as far as if you want to spend the money on it, you can get it where your phone's in your pocket, RFID key to your phone, you walk up to that door, it opens up, and you walk right through, right? So kind of some cool technology that's out there and coming out there, it's getting better, better, and better. There are safety devices for the house, right? So you can get stuff where you can see, is the stove on? Is the oven on? I know at home we have a smart oven right now where I could be driving home and I preheat the oven to 400, so when I get home it's ready for me to throw the food in, right? Well, on the flip side of that, that's a nice feature, but for your loved ones, maybe it's, did my loved one leave the oven on all night, right? So kind of thinking that way, and that's where you could keep control of that. You could kind of see what's going on there. Some voice-controlled assistants as well. Alexas. Right, Alexas are nice. You can tie it into the whole house. You can tie it into your lights. You can tie it into your Ring doorbell and that kind of stuff as well. Something else, something actually we just rolled out at our Chester Village location. It's called LEQ, E-L-L-I-Q. It's actually a mini robot that is your companion to your loved one. So it is very interesting. You pay a subscription on it, you buy the device and you pay a subscription. but actually lives in your house. And it will have one-on-one conversations with your loved one. It can tell if your loved one, bless you, it can tell if your loved one is feeling down. It can play games with your loved one. It can tell your loved one, remind you to take medication at 2 p.m. It's very interesting, kind of some cool technology that's kind of getting to the forefront. Again, it does scare some people, I will say, right? Because it is kind of a robot. But that is the way that technology is going, and I will say, we have about 70% of the residents, and when we first talked about this, it was probably at a 30% level that they were excited about it. And as it got rolled out and people started to see it, our residents now are literally in their room, they're ordering their lunch and dinner through the robot. And then they just walk down and they get their lunch and their dinner.
Do you have a picture of it?
I can bring one up for you.
Yeah, it's not, it sits on the table, right? Tyler, it's a tabletop.
It does. It's not a full robot, and it actually.
It's not R2D2.
No.
It is not R2D2. No.
It is super cute.
Tyler, how expensive is LEQ?
That is a great question. It's about, I want to say it's about $50 a month subscription, I believe it is. So it is, any technology when it first comes out that's doing well is going to be expensive, right? You wait probably 3 to 5 years, and that cost is definitely going to go down. I think.
But we don't have 3 to 5 years. What is the cost now?
Sorry.
So the residents at Chester Village that have LEQ, how long do they have it?
Just got rolled out this year. So I would say all of it in there probably within 90 days. It's pretty new. All right, so let's take a look at, that's what it looks like right there.
Isn't it cute?
So kind of interesting,
Yeah.
But that is what it looks like. There's others out there as well. But that is what it looks like. I didn't see if we can see rough pricing.
It's probably $400 for the unit.
I think I'm right.
So it is a one-time lease initiation fee of $249, and I want to say the monthly subscriptions are around $50 a month.
So you don't own it.
So, yeah. So let's
just
see.
like-
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah. So right now, LEQ is only leased through a membership,
Okay.
and then you give it back if you're done with it.
So you're basically paying for the subscription and leasing fee.
Correct. That's basically a one-time lease fee, and then your $50 pays for kind of both at the same time. Yeah. So it is interesting. It's out there. It's definitely an option. I'm not going to tell you it's the best option, but it's an option, and it's different. It's definitely different. Definitely could be worth trying. I'm sure if you contacted the company and you said I had a loved one that might benefit from this, can I give this a 90-day trial at no cost? You set it up. I would be shocked if they told you no on that. Usually most companies will let you set up.
So the residents so far, they like it up there?
So far, the residents have liked it. That is correct. Yep. Of course, that's why I said it's about 70%. I would say right now like it. And when we first talked about it, it was a pretty scary jump. People were nervous, but it's been going pretty well.
And then, had any of them ever used a Google Home?
Some did. Wait,
Can you repeat that question?
has anybody used a Google Home? Yeah. So some have. We, in the age population that we have at Masonic Air, we're always going to have some people that are still want to write down a letter and mail it in the mail and not use email, right? It's just they're not used to a laptop. They're not used to a smartphone, and they really, some of them just don't want the change, right? And at that age, I think we all know change gets harder and harder, right, as we get older and older. So. But just some other stuff, as well as some automated safety devices. I know we touched on some of them. The thermostats. Thermostats is a good one too, in case hot and cold. And these are all things, if you design this in the house, you can actually have control over it for your loved one if you don't live there. And I think that's really the nice piece about this and the peace of mind about the tech in the home, right? It's really for your loved one and to make sure that your loved one's safe when you think of it that way. And that's kind of the money that you're paying for in the tech. It's really that safety piece, right? So we're going to look at just some communication devices and just different things in the communication world. Video calling platforms, the FaceTime, that kind of stuff. There's all different apps out there. There's WhatsApp, there's GroupMe, all of them as people are traveling so that you can still talk to your loved one through a video call. There's just face-to-face calls. There's telehealth. I think since COVID, telehealth has really skyrocketed. Telehealth was there, but it really wasn't ever used, and a lot of stuff was FDA approved and everything else, and governmental approved. But it's really gotten to the level now where telehealth is really nice. You don't have to bring your loved one out of the house. You can make a lot of phone calls with it. You can get a lot of medication prescribed just by a telehealth call. Has everybody used telehealth in here? Pretty much, kinda. If not, I would definitely recommend it. It is nice. Sometimes it's nice just, not to go to the walk-in or, it's tough to get a doctor's appointment nowadays. The telehealth is nice, and usually it's cheaper on the insurance because they actually want to force you to go that way a little bit. And then the other thing is just some apps, right? So communication apps out there. Communication, I feel like, is tough for a loved one that's never used it before. So what I would say with communication is, if you're going to use it, try to make it as simplistic as possible. Teach your loved one over and over and over again. Because I can tell you, I was just on a phone call a week ago, and I couldn't even get somebody to click on the mail icon to get into their email, and I've shown that person 25 times before. So I understand the struggle. I get it. We're all nodding our heads, so totally understand it. The only thing I can say about that is try to make it as simple as possible. I'm a huge fan for the older population to use the Apple products. I just think that Apple made it so simplistic out there that it's tough to mess it up. And you can kind of set it up. Yeah, go right ahead.
But it's really easy on an iPhone to butt dial your daughter every day.
Oh, that is 100% true. Yes, that's a great point. That is very true. Very, very true.
Okay, I'm hanging up now. Call me back if you really need to call me.
That is the truth. That is very true. And you don't want to put a hard passcode or something on there because then they won't get in, right? So it's yeah. I agree. So sometimes I agree. You got to take that butt dial call and just hang it up, right? But I do think that being as simplistic as possible is the best bet here. Some assistive technology. This is kind of stuff that I almost didn't put in the slideshow, but I said, you know what, I should just in case. Because there's a lot of stuff really built into even like an iPhone or a Google phone or anything that's there that you can help your loved one with just by maxing out, the size of the text, right? Making it as big as it goes. Clearing off unwanted apps for your loved one. I will say there's something about Apple keeps wanting to put more apps on your phone, and we want to delete them. And if you can delete them for your loved one and make it where there's only maybe 8 apps on the front page, put it in the largest font as big as it goes, it will go a long way for them and just make it a lot simpler for them. A lot easier for them not to swipe through pages of apps and try to look for something and just put it right out in the open. Something else that has come a long, long way is hearing aids. We actually, Hillary Lewis down the street, Dr. Lewis down the street, she has an awesome audiology spot down there. She is so good. Her technology is unbelievable. All the implants that she gives out in the ear, all the hearing aids, they're all Bluetooth now. So we actually even have technology here at Masonic here now where down at our health center, our skilled nursing facility, when the residents come in to watch a movie, they actually connect their hearing aid to what's going on in the room, and that's how they listen so that the speaker doesn't have to be so loud. So really cool stuff. You can do that at home and have stuff set up for your loved one. Definitely something to look at if you're not using the Bluetooth in the hearing aids. I would definitely recommend it. And just some reminders, enhancing independent and autonomy, assisted technologies, reduce caregiver reliance, and really just empower the older adults to remain independent, right? That's kind of the whole theme of the whole presentation is we want them to kind of be independent for as long as they can, or at least live by themselves as long as they can with kind of some watch and some technology over them.
Tyler?
Yes.
I just wanted to add that I was at a meeting this morning, and there was a representative from a company that had the closed caption phones.
Yes.
And they cost the person $0 to have.
Yep.
It's a grant through the American, what did they say? Jay was at the meeting as well. American
Disabilities.
Yeah, American Disabilities.
Yeah.
So you could get a phone for free that has closed caption for your loved one if they have hearing problems.
She has on TV.
Oh yeah, they do.
I completely agree. And that even kind of ties into some of this increasing text size, which we were talking about, in visual settings, audio and voice features, turning that on, doing the closed caption. And that's actually another great point that Audrey brings up, because there's a lot of programs out there where sometimes you can get technology at no cost. Different programs, different doctors that can write different things, even talking with your doctor, if you have a loved one that's struggling with, eyesight or hearing, find out if there's a program or something that could help and say, hey, I heard there's Bluetooth hearing aids out there. They're a little pricey. Is there any type of program that I could go on to help out with this? Definitely don't ever be afraid to ask that stuff, because more times than not, you'll probably get directed in the right direction because the doctor wants to help out as well with this. And the doctors, 9 out of 10 doctors see that the technology is really helping out the older population, which is good. Actually, I think I just went a little too quick before, and I kind of talked through some of this slide as well, just kind of removing some of the apps. And training, right? So being with your loved one with that device, I know sometimes you could train them 100 times and they'll still ask you again and again and again. I totally get it. But I would just say be patient with them. A lot of times they do forget. Technology, again, just the population that we're at, that's that, 85, 90 years old range, did not grow up on any tech, nothing. So this is, when they look at an iPad, it looks so different. In another 30 years, when we're in that state, we're going to be looking at stuff going, what in the world is this? Or I could probably stand up here and almost mention artificial intelligence, and some people's minds will start spinning right now with what that is and what it's coming out and how machines are making automated decisions off the data in the background, right? So tech is just going to keep going and going and going, and I think being patient with the older population is just really the way to go, and just understand, putting yourself in their shoes with technology and understanding that it is difficult for them to comprehend and get. So,
Tyler, I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
What are your thoughts on, when we were talking about the iPhones, what are your thoughts on the Jitterbug phone that's advertised for seniors?
So I actually haven't. I've seen it, and I actually don't have much experience with it.
I do. Yeah, I got them for other parents than the ones I'm here to talk about. It's only a phone, and
So it's not a smartphone?
not at all.
No, you can't download apps, right?
Only will call. And by the time I got it for my elderly parents, they couldn't even figure out how to use it. So by the time you want to use a Jitterbug, it may even be too complicated.
Yeah.
And they can't read the New York Times on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's the thing, right? You try to almost dumb something down so much that they're kind of used to. I like going on this one app and reading this and doing this, and then it throws them off. You're right, and it's that change. That change becomes tougher, right? Something so simple to us, where an app maybe moved 3 pages down on an iPhone, to them it's a big change, big change. But yeah, no, good question.
My mother can't use a smartphone.
Yeah.
So she's had her jitterbug phone for many years. Like she's had it, I don't know. She's had it for so long. She initially got it just for emergencies, just to have a cell phone for to, when she went out for medical appointments,
Just to have something,
just
yeah.
to have something. Now she's 93, almost 94 with dementia, and she loves her jitterbug phone. I have phone numbers programmed into it.
Yeah.
And I'm number 1. So, but she's at the point now where she can't figure out how to call person number 2.
Yeah.
But at least she can reach me.
At least she can reach you with it, right?
Yeah.
So
And she loves it because she can call me whenever she wants, and she can see what time it is.
yeah, that's nice. And sometimes the little things.
See what she called last, which was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does anybody use like a watch with GPS on their loved one? Does anybody do any like geofencing?
Could you explain what geofencing is?
Yeah, so geofencing is another type of technology that's out there as well with the wearables. And you wear a watch just like this, and it keeps track of where you are, right? Just like you ever share your location on an iPhone, right? Same type of thing. It's just a watch that's out there, and you can see exactly where your loved one is. And what you could do is, what geofencing is called, is you can almost like draw a circle around their house. And if they leave their house, you get notified. So it'll send an alert to your phone, that kind of stuff. So that technology is out there as well.
Put an air tag in my mother's pocketbook.
There you go. Yeah, so, and that's a good one too. I don't know if you guys are right. Air tags. You can track air tags. I do the same thing actually with my son's book bag. He has no idea. Sewed it into his book bag, so I know where he is just in case anything happens, right?
Now the version 2 is out, the version 1, so I cap price and
It-
work almost as well.
Exactly. That's correct. Yep, exactly.
If you did that with the watch and they left the area, would you know where they were?
Yes. Yep, it will track you no matter where you are. And then the geofencing piece of it is that it would alert you when you break through the geofence. So it's basically you set up the fence around the area that you want. When you break through, you get the alert. So if you're looking for something like that, look for a wearable that has geofencing.
It's like an ankle bracelet for mom.
It basically is. Yeah, in Lincoln Stairs, it basically is.
What kind of things have
Off the top of my head, that has one. I will Google something for you right after, and I can give you some brands. Because off the top of my head, though, I can tell
that?
you what.
So is it like, do you have to get the very expensive Apple Watch, or can you get like a Fitbit?
So probably not a Fitbit. What you'll want to get is something more geared towards seniors, and a product geared more towards seniors. That's more of a watch. They make that. I will tell you, just because I want to be open about it, the trouble though is you will need to charge them because GPS does take down the battery. So that is the issue, and that's the issue that we have actually here at Masonic Care as well with wearables is an older senior has a tough time taking their watch off at night, putting it on the charger, going to bed, waking up in the morning, putting it back on, right? It's just for somebody older, that's not an easy task. So while the geofencing is great, I think it's great. I would buy into it. It is going to be a little bit more expensive than your normal watch. That would be your trouble. That'd be your pain point. But if you live with that person, or if that person's across town and you see them almost every day, you probably could get away with it. And the nice thing is they actually make it where the heads of the watch pop off, and you can leave the band on, and then the head of the watch just charges. And you buy 2 of them. That way when you go over, you pop the new one on, the old one off, which is nice.
And the air tag will last about a year.
Correct. AirTag you don't need to charge, right?
Well, no, but you do have to change batteries though.
Are they still throwaway, or do they have batteries? They have the batteries in them.
You replace, but you still have to replace them once a year. So.
Yeah. So as we talk about all of this, right? Because if you bought every technology out there, I think we'd all be broke because we're not millionaires, right? I wish we were all millionaires here, but unfortunately we're not. Right? So when you start looking at this, you really want to kind of look at what to consider or what may help you. And a lot of that is your loved one's individual needs, right? What are they struggling with? What safety will really help me out the most, right? Comfort, right? Think of your loved one's comfort, right? If they're going to hate wearing this watch band all day long and complain about it to you and call you and butt dial you a million times in a day and tell you how much they hate it, it's probably not the right thing for them. They do make things too where you can actually put things underneath their mattress and you see if they're laying down and how long they're in bed and did they get out of bed and that kind of stuff. So there's different technologies out there that you could revert to if they don't like the wearables as well.
Conceivably, put the make a watch necklace.
You can, yes. So the pendant, that's a great point. So the pendant that sits on a watch like this, they do make where it could be a necklace. So they make it in two different ways. And they actually make them where they look very nice now and stylish. I will say, the more stylish you go, the more money you're going to pay. Unfortunately, that is the one thing with tech that I wish they would fix is the price. But unfortunately, it's just like anything else in the world, pricing is just going up and up and up, which I wish it wasn't. But the other thing is I would say is getting some family involvement when you're thinking of purchasing these different things. Just get different opinions. Definitely, I talk to your loved one, kind of get what their head is at or what they're thinking, and then talk to other family members. Say, hey, do you think this would be good for mom or for dad, right? And see what they think as well. And you can also have those alerts go on more than one phone. So if you have brothers, sisters, grandkids, and you want to get the alerts that are maybe in the area, you can also set that up as well. So kind of as I said before, I really have a belief that technology won't substitute care, right? So technology is really just going to be a support tool that's there that will help out, right? The importance of human care is really, really important, right? I think COVID kind of taught us that in a way too, right? We kind of missed that. I know a lot of people during COVID, right, went to Zoom or maybe are still doing Zoom, but there's still something about that in person, right? Compared to if we were on a Zoom right now, right, and we were all sitting at home, probably almost everybody would have walked away at some time, grabbed like a bite to eat, started watching TV, got distracted for 10 minutes, and maybe one person would be listening, right? So it's that in-person touch, right? And the same thing goes for care, right? Your loved one likes somebody being there, right? Yes, there's robots out there. Yes, there's LAQ that will help, right? But there's always going to be something special about your voice, your touch that goes on and that care of the needs for when it comes time for anything with healthcare. Active family involvement, communication, preventing isolation and promoting comprehensive support for loved ones. Again, kind of just wraps it all together. Again, I'm a big proponent that technology won't take over that care. It will only help, which I do think that technology really helps. And I think it's really that right technology and picking that right technology. Now, when we pick technology, I really wanted, this is kind of near and dear to my heart, cybersecurity. I'm sure we've kind of all heard the term cybersecurity and wanted to just throw this into the presentation just to help everybody out. I'm sure you've heard most of this stuff, but it's good to just go over and educate. I can tell you a scam that just happened 2 weeks ago to my grandmother. She thought it was the cable company calling her up. It was somebody else. She gave the credit card over the phone. Boom, her credit card's maxed out, everything else. So it happens all the time. And I think to our level, I could go on here, I could teach you guys a little bit of stuff. Fishing, I don't know, does everybody know the term fishing? But not that you fish and catch a fish, right? So phishing, right, when kind of, who's gotten the, you have a toll due as a text message and click on the link, right? Everybody pretty much, right? And when you think about that, they send that out to 1 million people, right? And you might say, I'll never click on that. But 1 million people get that. If 10% of people click on that, right? Or let's say 1% of people click on that, right? 10,000 credit cards they just got, right? That they just stole. So very, very interesting, and that's how they do it. And there's people that fall for it every day. I can tell you that there's people at Masonic who have had literally somebody come knock on their door that they trusted through the computer. They came up, knocked on the door, and they handed them $10,000 cash. And there is nothing you can do about that, right? So the scams are out there. It's there every day. It's scary. It makes the hair on your arms stand up, right? So I would just tell you with your loved ones to reiterate, that generation is so, so trusting. It is unbelievable how trusting they are. They are a great generation. It's kicked down to us as well. But with that trust, they don't understand these bad actors and these bad guys and what they're doing. So I would just tell you to please tell your loved ones on the phone, if someone knocks on the door, don't ever give out any personal information. Tell them to call you. You guys double check that information. Make sure that whoever is, the bill in the mail is a true bill in the mail and it's not something. Red flags to watch, just urgent money demands, personal info request. Usually there's urgency. Usually when it's a scammer or an attacker, there's urgency in there. Why? Because when you read something, your body naturally tells you when it's urgent, let me get this done, right? And you don't think twice about it. I'll tell you something our CEO says all the time, and it's in a time of a crisis, you should slow down, right? And that kind of goes well with a lot of things, and definitely with this, right? So when there's that urgency, think twice about it, tell your loved one to think twice about it. Or again, I would just tell your loved one to call you on all that stuff that seems off. Education, yep, Brett.
So protection, protection strategies. Yes, we can do all of those things, but we are not the ones who are in their 90s and with dementia. So for the parents with dementia who can't do those things, can you talk more about what we can do to keep them from receiving these phishing attempts?
So unfortunately, there's no way to block them from getting them. The only way you could do that, take away the phone, take away a computer, take away their iPad, and then what happens? They're going to be miserable, right? It's their daily
For the
things.
phone calls, so for the demented one, I put her phone on Do Not Disturb, only allow calls from these people, and I list all the people she can get calls from. I haven't yet figured out how to do that for messages. There must be a way.
For messages,
Phone notifications.
yeah, I don't think you can do it for messages. You can definitely do your phone where only contacts call you.
And I set that, and she kept getting spam calls. So that's when I switched it over to only allow calls from these people.
Okay, and that's a great thing. You can definitely. Does she have a home phone now?
No.
Oh, that's
Not
great
anymore.
news. Okay, that's great news because I will say a lot of home phone and you can't really stop it on home phone. On the cell phone, you can definitely put in the contacts and then say only allow. You can star it or favorite as well and only do favorite contacts that can contact it as well. But unfortunately, that's the terrible thing, and that's why a lot of these attackers are winning. There's no exact way. They'll do it by mail, they'll do it by the home phone, they'll do it by text message with a link. They'll even
Click on the links.
right. They'll even start doing it by QR code. Is how they're doing it as well.
We help protect people by not giving them a credit card or a credit card with super low maximums, and then same thing with bank accounts. Have very little money in the bank. So if they
There's
do
not so
say,
much to lose.
go to the bank, you need to come to the bank with me right now, and it's a scammer, there's not too much money there. I've heard people do that.
You definitely can. Go ahead, Audrey.
Another scam that I witnessed firsthand when I first started at Masonicare, I was at the reception desk at our assisted living here at Ashland Village. And a woman came running out of her apartment. She came up to the receptionist and she said, it's an emergency, can you please call me a cab? And I was just standing there, so I said, oh, is everything okay? She said, no, my grandson's lawyer called me on the phone and they told me he's in jail and I have to send $3,000, otherwise, he's gonna sit in jail. And this poor woman was so upset, and all she wanted to do was have us call her a cab. And, right away my brain started thinking, this doesn't sound right. So we sat her down and we started talking, and someone went back to her apartment and called the number that she had and was able to prove to this woman that this was a scam. And then they called one of her children and said, is so-and-so in jail? No. But she would have run to the bank and taken out $3,000.
100%. It's getting so good now that they're starting to tell you to have code words with your family, because they're starting to take somebody's voice. They'll get somebody's voice in your family. They'll take a voice clip that says, hello, my name is Tyler, right? They'll take that and then they'll throw that into AI, and then they'll actually have a phone call. It's good to kind of to pay attention and to save. Even with emails, check their emails, check their inbox, see what they're up to. I know it's probably weird to do that, but it's a good thing to do. I can tell you another scam that's out there is they'll get emails that say kind of like a formal letter that the person has nude pictures of you, and that if you don't pay an X amount of money, that they're going to release them into the wild. And people believe that they're going to release these pictures, and they pay the ransom on it. So I'll tell you, please don't pay that ransom. Don't give me a credit card. Delete that email. But there's a lot of different scams out there, and they're coming out with new ones every month. But I think educating, being in the business, making sure that you know what's going on will definitely help out, and just yourselves being as educated as you can on the topic. And then I just wanted to touch on a couple of different things on this one. Is just for your guys' knowledge, using strong passwords. Password crackers are getting better and better. I can tell you that I could use my hacking laptop and crack an 8-digit password in about less than 10 seconds. So it's very easy to do. I could tell you I could sit in Starbucks and I could connect to their free Wi-Fi and I could see everything you're doing on your computer. So it's very easy to do. Now, if I went and did that, it's totally illegal, so I'm not going to do that. But it can be done. It is very easy. I can tell you one of the things I did here at Masonic Care years ago when we got audited was I took everybody's password that's encrypted, put it through my laptop, and in a week had a lot of passwords that we had. And Audrey can attest, and she probably hates me for this. Our password policy is 14 characters here, and the reason being, when you get up to 14 characters, it actually encrypts your password differently than when it's below 14 characters. So that's why we're at 14 characters. So something on here, a lot of people think that that word hockey all the way to the right is harder to crack than I love playing hockey 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation. And that is completely false. So it doesn't matter how hard you make it. What matters is there's an uppercase, a number, a syllable, and the longer the better. So you can make something that's easy to type in, the longer the better when setting these passwords for your loved ones.
Is it true that you should not use in your passwords like your children's names or your birthday, the year you were born?
Yeah, what I would tell you is your children's names, I mean, kind of, the only person that's going to know that is someone that does a lot of recon on you. And somebody that's doing that much recon on you is really going after somebody probably that's, government level, something like that. What I would tell you is don't use a common password. Like people love to use winter 2026 exclamation point. I will tell you that every hacker out there has a common password sheet And what they do is they throw it through in less than an hour. They could have, you know, 1 million people guessed against, you know, 100 different common passwords. So the common passwords is what I would tell you to stay away from. Pets, kids, that kind of stuff. You want to throw it in there, go for it. And again, don't make it tough on yourselves. Make the password easy to type in. Make it. You know, I love playing hockey. You know, make it nice and easy. It's long. You know, it's hard to crack. People, you know, won't get it. And then every once in a while, changing it. Does everybody know what multi-factor authentication is?
But most of the passwords you save them anyways. So next
Yep.
time you go in, it's saved. So
Correct, and then it's there, and you're good to go.
Which is why a password organizer is a better idea because it generates stuff you can never remember.
100%, that's good too. I will tell you, I use LastPass. It's completely free. What LastPass does is the free version. You can either use it as an app and keep all your passwords on your iPhone in LastPass, or you can use it in the browser as a browser extension. It encrypts everything. So you have a master password that you set, encrypts all your passwords in there, and you keep all your passwords in there in encrypted vault.
Can you say the name again?
Last, L-A-S-T, Pass, P-A-S-S.
Oh,
I
Is that
think-
the app was?
No, that could be anything.
I've been distressed at how many apps have a lost password button, and when you click it, it's very easy, or your forgot password, excuse me, the forgot password button. And they just send the link to my email, and then I can reset it. It's like, well, anybody could do that. Anybody who knows my email could
Well,
reset it.
they have to get into your email and password to get in there. But yes, so if that's your recovery email, make sure your recovery email password's strong, and make sure your recovery email has multi-factor authentication on it. That will save you from somebody. So I actually give you, I don't want to say the name, but I can tell you an attack that just happened that we just helped out was not Masonic Care, it was somebody else. And the person was using their work email, which was an admin account, had a recovery email on there. Their recovery email got hacked. And then their work email, exactly like you're saying, reset link got sent to recovery. Boom, they then reset their work email and got into their work. Right? So there was no multi-factor authentication. It was an 8-character password. Very easy thing. So these are simple things that you can do to protect yourselves and your loved ones to help out. So I would tell you on any email that you have, especially if it's tied to banking accounts, anything like that, that's reset, turn on multi-factor authentication if you do not have it on. Text message is good, but I will tell you text message can be beat. Text message has been proven to be beat by hackers, and they can take that text message. The best thing is to use like Google Authenticator. It's a free app. It's just a soft token that changes every like 25 seconds and gives a code. Usually when you set it up, you scan a QR code with the app. I would tell you to use that. That's your most secure way to go. I would put that on all your apps, all your banking apps. Another thing that I like to do is all my financial apps. I like to get emails and texts and push alerts whenever someone's withdrawn out of the account, something's used, the bill goes through, anything. It's definitely good to just have that in your head, because if something goes through that you're like, what was that? Or let's just say you get a weird email that says, hey, your Amazon order was charged for $49.99, right? Click here to log in because they're trying to steal your Amazon credentials. Don't do that. Don't click the link in that email. Go on your Amazon account, go to your banking, see, did I get that alert? That is a huge tip too. If you ever get an email, you're unsure, if it's Amazon, FedEx, anything, don't click the link in the email. Browse directly to that website.
Also check the address of the email that was sent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Have the name on it.
100%. Yep. So,
I think a lot of people also think that if you have a work email, like that, you're safe. I came to work one day, this was a few years ago, I don't know if you remember this, Tyler, and I got a voicemail from someone in our HR department. And all she said was, hi, it's so-and-so, please call me as soon as you get into the office. I called her back and she said, I just wanted to check to make sure, did you change your bank for your direct deposit?
Ooh.
And I said, no. She said, okay, that's what we thought. We never will approve anything until we talk to you. So someone got into my thing, I don't know if it was ADP then or what it was, and tried to change my direct deposit bank to their bank.
So what they'll do is they probably did recon on like LinkedIn, and Audrey has a huge following, and they'll get her email from LinkedIn, and then what they do is they'll make a fake email, and then they'll put Audrey's name, what's called spoofing. They'll spoof the first name and last name of the email, send that into HR, say please change. If HR is not thinking about it, and this is we educate HR, we educate finance on all of this stuff with numbers, but if they're not thinking about it, all of a sudden somebody will change their routing number to an attacker's bank and boom, it's gone. So it happens more times than not to scare you, but it does happen. I would just say please use some of these, especially on your loved ones' accounts and even on your own accounts at home. Use long passwords, use multi-factor authentication. Those two things are what 90% of people that get compromised, they don't have in place right there. So that will help you a lot. The other thing I would just tell you is if you get an email, that's a free gift card, free something. Usually if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. And I know we're kind of over time, so just kind of want to wrap up. Just some quick takeaways from today. Start simple and accessible with the technology that you're going to look at, that you may adapt to, that you may do. Match the needs and living situations of your loved one, right? So just take some time to really map that out and think about it. If your loved one's against the technology, try to teach them, promote dignity, promote independence. The technology is going to help you. We're not putting this on to watch you. That's usually the number one thing that you get is, I don't want to wear this thing. You're tracking everywhere I go, everything else. So I understand that. The biggest thing is to kind of talk about the ledge from that and tell them, sway it the other way. Listen, I want to give you the technology because I want you to be more independent, and go that route, and that will really help. And then always continue to, reassess, readapt. Is the technology still working a year later? Is it a good investment? If you do go something like the LAQ and you try it for a little bit, is it something that we want to continue, or hey, are we really wasting money with this and should we go another route? But that's all that I had. I just want to say thank you for having me. Thanks for the time. If anybody has any questions, please, go right ahead.
Do you know anybody who's tried the memory board and seen it advertised?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out how to help. My mother she lives in Massachusetts. She has 24/7 aides.
Yeah.
But instead of asking the aide who's across the table from her, who's coming next, she calls me.
Okay.
Over and over and over. And so I was just thinking of getting some kind of way of sending her a message. She does type, she reads email and she replies to my email. But if I send her an email with the caregiver schedule, she'll see it. But then as soon as she goes on to something else, a few minutes goes by, she'll forget.
You may want to look into the LEQ, to be honest, because even see if you could trial it or something, because that is a AI robot that's supposed to learn kind of what your loved one needs. And, as somebody leaves and the aide leaves and they say goodbye and they say goodbye to LEQ, maybe LEQ could just automatically say, oh, Mrs. Blank, this person's coming next. They'll be here at 1 p.m., or something like that.
So, but the robot LEQ won't know if the schedule changes. You know what I mean?
That I don't know if you could upload a schedule right to it and send to it, because it does connect to the internet, so it probably could take information. That would be a great question. Might be something to look into. I know it's expensive though, it's the only thing.
Or you could even do it with Google, to be honest with you. You could set up a schedule on Google and she'd say, hey Google, who's coming up next?
Yeah, actually, or you could do an Alexa, and you could probably set up announcements. It'd be a little bit of work on your end, but like Alexas, are you familiar with Alexas? Like it's made by Google. You can buy them. Some of them look almost like a light.
Alexa's and Amazon. Yeah, my mother has a Google Home.
Okay, so
She
you
checks
may.
the weather every day.
So I would almost, you could probably look into seeing what you could do with that. Could you set up a schedule on that, and could it announce at certain times of the day
You can set up routines.
on it? So you might be able to do it right on there,
Yeah.
and maybe if you could force an announcement every hour of who's coming next. You'd probably have to play with it a little bit. I'm not 100% familiar, but you have my contact. Feel free to reach out. I'll try to help you out if you want.
I was going to ask, what do you say about seniors who are excessively using technology? Because then that can create isolation as well if they're using it too much.
I agree.
Just like a teenager.
I was going to relate it. You're totally right. I was going to relate it right to my 6-year-old son because we only allow so much screen time because of that reason, right? So I would actually say, make sure that there's a mix. And that's why I'm a believer that technology won't overtake care and that face-to-face. I think the technology should help. I think that they should be on it. But I also think somebody should be visiting that home or that place. And there should be face-to-face at least once a day if you could, not every other day. I understand that loved ones are far away. Sometimes not everything's possible. But if not, right, like a caregiver, making sure that a caregiver does come over or somebody helps out in that situation. Because I agree, if you're going to sit in a chair and just play on the iPad all day long, you're like rotting away, just sitting there where you got to get some movement in, you got to do some stuff. And I will say, I think that's actually where the robot does help a little bit, because the robot will tell you almost, hey, you've been laying in bed for X amount of time, let's get up and walk around, or, let's play a game, something like that. So I think there's got to be that medium feel. I hope did I answer it? Or? Okay.
Too bad you can't limit your parents'
I
screen
know,
time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, like you can with the child.
Yes, you can.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Only if you don't tell them how to do it.
Yeah.
We'll take one more question, and then but feel free to stick around to ask additional questions. And then we'd love, let me just pause for a moment before the question. We do want to thank our sponsors and ask you to stay for a photo op. Kevin would like to take your picture by your tables, if that's okay. And we do have some members of our leadership team here, Audrey, David McDonald from Wallingford Gillsville Funeral Home, Jennifer, who had to leave, who was out front. So we are so thrilled that you're here, and we'd love to get a photo of you too, if that's okay.
Of course.
And next month, please come back. So our program next month is titled Managing Medications for Aging Parents, a Caregiver's Guide. And then in August, we're going to have, and then we'll have a pharmacist with us presenting next month. We'll have an occupational therapist here in August to talk about concerns we might have for our aging parents regarding driving, including how to have that tough conversation. And please do the evaluation form that's on the table, so we really appreciate that. And Lori, we're going to give you the last question.
I'll ask you after.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.